They say in the Northwest, you don't tan, you rust from all the rain. But what I love the most about our rainy days is all the awesome little creatures that start to appear. Like banana slugs as big as your foot, or ambitious snails or slimy salamanders. Or this little guy who is approaching my front doorstep. I told him I don't like solicitors, but he persisted. There are so many cool things in nature to draw versus what we find on Pinterest, so I decided to share a little tutorial today on how to make a stylized snail. We'll be sketching him in Procreate and then vectorizing him in Illustrator. To start, I'll be sketching with Procreate 6B pencil. Let's begin with drawing a half circle. Close up that circle and then add some glistening shapes. These are the shapes I always make on bubbles to make them translucent, but here they add dimension to the shell. Then you can fill in those shapes, which I always find relaxing to do. Then inside the shell, you can draw another half circle like this. Once you finish that half circle, grab the dry ink brush to create a larger spiral shape in the shell. After you draw this spiral, you can erase any parts that fall outside the shell edge. After this, I'd like you to go back to the 6B pencil and draw over the edges of the spiral shape to help clean up the edges. Even though this is a sketch, it's just nice to have it finalized that way. Now let's go to drawing the body. If you like your snail with a longer body, you can extend the backside out longer to the right of the shell, but I'm going to make this guy a little bit shorter. Once you've got the body and the head done, let's work on his wobbly little antennas and his eye. Big eyes on animals add extra cuteness, so let's make his extra large even though we can't really see it in real life. Then you can add a shadow under his shell to give it some depth. Once you're happy with your sketch, export it to Illustrator by going up to the wrench icon and selecting Share Image, and then export as a PNG or JPEG and select AirDrop, Email, or Message. This will transfer it to your computer. Now that your sketch is in Illustrator, set it up on its own layer and make the transparency of it multiply. Then we'll put a layer underneath the sketch where we will draw. That way we can turn off and on the visibility of the layers to see our work, but also turn back on the sketch layer to draw from it. Now you can begin drawing over the body. I'm using the pen tool, but use whatever you like. You can leave off the circles at the top of the antennas for now. Instead of tracing over those circles, I just like to go up and grab the circle shape and draw them as perfect circles and adjust as needed. Somehow this just seems faster to me. Once you've done that, then you can merge the circles with the body by going to Pathfinder Unite. Let's add the shadow on the shell. Draw another perfect circle in a slightly darker shade than the body. Line it up to match your sketch. With the snail body selected, hit Draw Inside and paste this circle so it's masked inside the snail body. For the shell, I will draw a circle and adjust the points until it matches the sketch. Then use a lighter color for the glistening shapes on the shell. This helps make it feel a bit more dewy. Now you can draw the eyes with 2 circles to match your sketch. If the eye feels too small at first, you can make it bigger. And for the spiral, I like to use the paintbrush tool and just draw over the spiral shape. Be sure to include the thin outer line as part of the spiral. Then select the shell and go to Draw Inside and paste the spiral so it's masked inside. And that's it. Great work. I'm glad that you did it and made it to the end. Once you've got your snail, you can use him for all sorts of things like this animated GIF here. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Have fun and happy creating!